Wait, is this the way I look? Andrew's gone. He's making coffee. So, but we're definitely live, which is awesome. Live at noon. Hopefully we'll finish before the solar eclipse. And of course, now that I go live, I start coughing again, but whatever. But good afternoon, technically, because we had to move this because I had a thing this morning. But yeah, Andrew is on his way. There we go. Today we're talking about... Oh, let me check. But yeah, Andrew is on his way. Sweet. Sounds good. There we go. Okay, stop talking to me. I'm going to put this in the community tab thing, and then I'll post it again, and then we'll be done right before the eclipse should happen. At least I was told about that, so. Live with our anime conversation. Oh, let's try that. First anime conversation, very cool. I know it says things we like, but we do love anime. I do. I know Andrew does too. I'm really excited to actually hear what Andrew has to say about it. Okay, put this in the Discord. And then I'll pull up chat. With our first at everyone. Oh, my chest hurts so bad. It's like somebody punched me in the rib cage on my left side. And it's been miserable, but anyway, let me pull up Closive on a Monday. There he is. I found him.
What?
What? I did not expect that sound to come out. What? All right, I'll pull up the chat. I've already posted it everywhere. I put it in the community thing and then in the Discord. So Chloe's here. We love Chloe. I do.
Chloe.
Hold on, let me mute us. There we go.
Chloethan.
I love it. Eli and Novice, what's up? Good afternoon. I told them we would be done by the time the eclipse is taking place, so we can all go outside and look at it.
Yeah.
All right.
Chatters. Are we gonna do a book club? Tell Brooks we need to do a things we like book club.
That would be so. Oh, I know what I can do this week. So this week, there's a coffee shop next to my house, and I almost said the name, but I'm not gonna dox myself or anybody else. But there's a coffee shop close to my house, and I'm gonna start the first Dune novel this week.
Nice.
So I saw Dune 1 and Dune 2. I actually saw Dune 2. It's pretty good. I thought Dune was much more complicated than it was.
No, it is. The movie just made it way more accessible.
Yeah. It is.
No, it's that complicated. It is that complicated.
So the first book, I'm gonna turn you down a little bit. The first book, right, is let's make him 89. There we go. So the first book is what takes place in it's basically, if you've seen the 84 movie by David Lynch, it's basically the first book condensed into like a film, like 2 hours.
Well, the first 2 movies are the first book.
Yeah. That's true
Basically.
for the new ones. So
Yeah.
I'm on book 3 of Dune. Nice.
Children of Dune, where they turn into worms. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
I have Children of Dune and Dune Messiah, so I think those are the 3 that I need to read. But what am I trying to pull up here? I think it's just
I don't know.
pull up OBS. That's what I want. I was like, what? Be safe. Don't go blind. True. Don't look at the sun during an eclipse. Don't look directly at it. popped into my brain. Let me see. Could y'all also make an interesting topic of theme/intro songs? Which makes a good one? Which are your favorite? Like to movie or like not movies, but like shows.
The example was Gravity Falls.
Oh, Gravity Falls is such a cute show.
I was gonna say if you finish reading, it will answer your question.
Okay, all right, Andrew. He's right though. Gravity Falls. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea because there's you could talk about that for hours, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Finnegan's Wake. I've never heard of it, but it's got to be good. If Eli has just good taste in media, so I would trust that. Russell, what's up, dude? I love the David Lynch movie. Unjustly Hated. I love it too. I'm still working on it. I still have to get through I've gotten through the first half because I've been watching it in increments, which is probably not the best thing to do. But the effects are really charming for the time, and they look silly. But it's
and Sting's in it.
Yeah. So the music was done by Toto. The intro was done by Brian Eno, directed by David Lynch. The cast is really good.
Sting is the bad guy.
Yeah, it's a little over the top, but the set design is like my favorite. It's beautiful to look at. Cuz it's all practical, you know? So it's all that. I know we're talking about Dune instead of anime, but you know. Oh, I figured out my Dune tattoo idea. So right here, I got to fill this space. I'm going to get the Fremen symbol. Cuz there's the four houses. There's the four. Okay, so you've got the Atreides, you've got the Harkonnen, you've got the Bene Gesserit, you've got the Mentat, and you've got the Fremen. They all have symbols of their. I think the Fremen are my favorite because they're the most interesting of the people because they're the desert dwellers and they have the lore, the prophecy, and they also have or they believe in
the Shai Hulud.
Yeah, they believe in the Bene Gesserit prophecy of some of them think it's a scams, some of them think it's
the
second
coming. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Fremen have Javier Bardem too, so that's a big
that's true. That's true.
How much spice have you ever lost on a coin toss? That's awesome. We need to do a film breakdown. That one's hard because I don't know if you have a problem with this, but I have to remember what I've actually seen.
Well, we would just do it movie by movie and just talk about the movie.
Yeah.
I would have to go. I gotta go see all the new Dunes though.
Yeah.
So that I can.
I was trying to figure out the motivations of every character. The only thing about the new ones is I feel like you got to watch them back to back because you
probably.
I forgot a lot of the stuff, and then I went back and watched the 84 movie, and the 84 movie isn't completely correct because there's some stuff that they get wrong according to actual hardcore fans. So I'm just getting into it, so I'm just learning still. So, but I love Dune and I love the world and I love the property, so very much into that.
Good to see everybody in chat today.
It is very nice. So we'll try to wrap it up so we can go look at the moon blocking the sun.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to do book reading club together.
That would be great. Because I
think that would be fun.
Some books.
Well, no, reading at the same time.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So
that would be even better.
That's what I mean by book club.
That's
what I'm talking about.
I thought
we pick a book and us and chat all read it together.
That's actually a really good idea for a monthly episode. That way it knocks out one of the episodes. At the end of the month, or at the end of the month, it's we could post at the beginning of the month, May 1st. It's here's the book, and by the last thing, it's have we read it? How far are we? What are we thinking? And I guess we just assume that everybody has it read by the episode.
Well, we can also talk about it in the pre and post of recording of the podcast. All that kind of stuff.
That's true.
I think it'd be fun.
Good morning, Chaz. Morning. Oh, it's morning for Chaz. He's on the West Coast, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's some good books that I really want to read.
Oh yeah, me too. I have a bunch of my bookshelf back here is stocked full of fiction and nonfiction. So
yeah,
I gotta buy that book that you sent me, the $2 one, basically.
Which one?
You sent me a text.
That was the productivity book.
Mm-hmm.
That was only for that one day.
Oh, F word.
That's why I sent it to you.
Oh, I missed that. So,
That's why I was like, hey, you should go buy this like tomorrow when it's on sale. And
that's
then
well, rest in peace. Would it be cool to get a room in the Discord for discussion of books? Oh yeah, I'll make that after the thing, so we could do a book discussion.
go ahead and make it. Go ahead and make it right now.
Oh,
Go ahead
okay.
and make it right now. Go ahead and make it right now. We got some time.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it
Um,
right now. So we have general and then clips.
And then book club.
Let me see. I think I do want to save this clip. What is this from? What's that? There's like that meme song where it's like, "Oh fuck!" Oh, that's awesome.
That's really
Dude,
good.
I gotta make a short off of this Bloodborne thing that happened.
Yeah.
because- Actually, I want to share this. This is actually really damn funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I changed my mind. I'm keeping the clips because
Yeah.
that's funny as hell. I'm gonna make
Yeah.
a book.
Keep the clips. They're really funny. But also,
Big
yeah,
channel.
go ahead and make a
Books.
book club. Book club channel.
Let's see, just book. Channel name just books.
Books.
Channel topic. This is our book club chat. Talk about books you're reading, as well as what else would you put in here, Andrew?
Books you're reading and book club for the podcast.
As well as our podcast book club discussions.
Yup.
Sweet.
That can be something that we do pretty regularly, mainly because I'm going to try to pick books that are available on people's library apps. So if you've ever used Hoopla or Libby,
Mm-hmm.
you can use your library card to get access to books and audiobooks
Mm-hmm.
via that.
How do I edit this? This is. Oh, it's. Oh, I see. Okay, well, it is there in the Discord now. So,
Cool.
also one last thing before I hop into it, I'm gonna start doing some vlog content later. Probably just driving around and talking for like 10 minutes, sharing some stuff.
Yeah. Novice, if you check out Hoopla, Hoopla, you basically just do the exact same thing, except you don't have to wait for books to come available. It's just as you want it. You check them out for 21 days,
That's sick.
which is super sick.
Chaz says, he goes, books, what are y'all, fucking nerds? I'm like, okay, I'll play this clip and then we'll go ahead and record and get into the
Yeah,
episode. So this is really funny. This is from Elden Ring, from Forever. Hannah actually clipped this, so shout out to Hannah. This is really damn funny. I'll actually play the Bloodborne one too. I'm going to post it as a thing, as in theater mode. There it is. So
Yeah.
it's like a,
Drop chat.
what's that?
on the right.
There's like that meme. Oh,
There you go.
all right, yeah. I was like, what do you mean drop chat? What's that? There's like that meme song where it's like, oh, fuck! Oh, sorry. I want to play this other one from the Bloodborne stream. I'm gonna download this stream and just make a video out of it, or maybe a short.
funny.
Probably a short actually would be better. Thank you guys for supporting the shorts. They're doing really well. Where's this one? Look at this dumbass right here. I pinned it too, so if you want to go watch it again. Oh fuck. Oh hell. Oh hell, here it comes. This is scary as shit, dude. Oh shit. Oh damn it. The sounds in the background. Oh damn it.
Yeah.
Oh damn it, there's two! There's fucking two of them! Holy fuck, there's 2. Oh shit, it balls. God damn it. What the
God, that game
fuck?
looks rough.
This is a rough area. What the fuck?
You died.
I just love how genuine, like when somebody reacts
There's
and it's
2.
it's totally.
And there was actually like 8.
Yeah, I know. When people react, and it's like genuinely like that. Even if it's me, like I love watching myself get pissed off and frustrated and stuff because it's really funny to watch.
Oh, dude. Oh, do you have that one clip I got from you playing Metroid Prime?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's in my clips somewhere. I'll have to go find it.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Hold on, let me see if I can find that real quick before we get started.
Yeah, if you could find that would be so sick.
Too funny, dude.
I gotta capitalize on the shorts of my content. I think what I'm gonna start doing is recording every time I stream. That way I have stuff.
Oh, this clip can be unavailable if it was deleted or the video based on was removed or edited.
Oh, that's why. I got rid of them because the quality was really choppy on my. Because that was back before. That was my PC was having issues, so I just like.
Oh.
started over.
Man.
I know. I'm a butthole when it comes to deleting.
Never delete stuff. Bro.
I know that's my biggest weakness as a creator. I've deleted so much good stuff before in the past. I'm like, whatever. But anyways, you guys ready to hop into anime?
Yeah.
What a sentence. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to the Things We Like podcast with Andrew, and Brooks, and the chat, and everybody. Brooks, how are we doing today?
Good. I'm good.
So dramatic.
I know.
So dramatic.
We both got really sick in March, and then April we're all getting better, so we're like recovering from that. So I went to the doctor today anyway, so we're good. But everything's pretty good.
Drawn.
Yeah. I hate getting blood drawn. I could do a whole hour podcast about how much I hate that. But today we're talking about anime. I know it's
baby.
I know it's the Things We Like channel, but we genuinely love anime.
A whole lot.
I have my favorites, and I haven't seen that many anime, but I've seen enough to know what I'm talking about. I feel like.
Yeah.
And Andrew has probably watched more than I have, like for sure.
Watched a decent amount, I think, at this point. But I've also read a lot of manga. I'm gonna try to not count that towards my anime numbers.
I would allow it because I think that counts because of one of my favorites. Because I think the manga is the best version of that. So I'll allow manga because it's the same thing. Like you can't have well, I guess you can have anime without manga, but a lot of the most popular ones are based on anime. Are based on manga.
Oh, the other way around, yeah.
Yeah. So
I get what you mean. I think today for everybody we're gonna do top 5. And we'll toss some honorable mentions there at the end. So we'll do top 5. We'll do our top 5 like we have been doing, where we snake draft our top 5.
Yeah. So
starting with number 5 and going up to 1, back and forth. Brooks, why don't you give us a coin toss to see who's starting today?
Heads or tails?
Heads.
Flip a coin. Tails. So,
booties.
Yeah. All right. Cracks knuckles.
Cracks knuckles. It's time for Brooks enters the chat.
Okay, I'm gonna actually let me. I'm gonna type them as we go, just to triple.
So you remember all of them.
Yeah. So, I want to say anime. Let's see it. I think I need a number 3. Actually, no, I don't. Actually, maybe I do.
Start with number 5, and then while I'm talking, you can do your other stuff.
So for me, my number 5 would be the original Naruto.
Ooh.
Because
it's a good shout, actually. And as far as the placement, I totally understand that.
Okay, I have all mine. Definitely have all mine now.
Okay, but yeah, original Naruto. So that's a good shout.
Yeah, the OG Naruto. I have a lot of nostalgia for this, and I understand that like nostalgia glasses do play into this a little bit. for me especially. But the original Naruto is very iconic. I love the tuning exams arc where they're all fighting and you get to see like the different things. I think Rock Lee was like my favorite character. Just based on how like he's very much like me, like he's very less is more. He's very simple. He's not super complex in his fighting style, and he
just does one thing really, really, really well.
but he makes up for his lack of knowledge of like actual technique for hard work and like persistence. And I feel like that for me is like reflected in how I play music, because I'm not the most technically proficient musician in the world. I'm self-taught. Like I had to put in a lot of work to get to where I'm at. And while I do have some technical ability, it's like there are people who are more technically proficient than me when it comes to like guitar, bass, or just music theory, or like people know. If Andrew, if you were to read out, okay, I want you to hit a D, C, F, and whatever on a bass, I'd be like, but if you called numbers, if you're like, I want a 6, 5, 4, 1 progression, I'd know it. So like I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know, but I can perform one thing pretty damn good. So all that to say, the original Naruto is a big one for me. Also, I had a friend growing up that we both loved it, like, and so yeah, I remember it being on like Cartoon Network, like during the day, like after I got back from school, along with a lot of other shows. But yeah, original Naruto for me, probably number 5.
Yeah, it's really good. And like I feel like I was late to Naruto for some reason. Like it had already, I think Shippuden had already started whenever I watched the original Naruto in its entirety. But it was, I mean, it holds up even now. I mean, there's definitely some like pacing problems in it.
Yeah.
More so in Shippuden than original Naruto.
Yeah, which I haven't seen Shippuden, but I've heard is good. So, but it's just long. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, it is a lot. And I feel like, I mean, I can say nothing because of some anime we'll talk about later, but
yeah,
I am scared to. I finished Naruto by like skipping around and like watching a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah.
For Shippuden, but I never like watched it straight, so I probably need to do that. But the original OG, I did watch straight, and it's got some super cool moments. The moment that they're fighting the mist guy, and
oh yeah, that's on
they
the
throw the
bridge?
giant shuriken. No, they throw the giant shuriken. Sasuke throws the giant shuriken, and then it's Naruto, and like he poofs into Naruto, and I was like, oh yeah, that's so sick.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, there's just a bunch of cool, like, interesting moments with that show for sure.
It's just a fun show. It's a fun show.
There's a lot of people's entry point into anime as well.
That's a good point too, because like it is a very good anime to start with if you're like not really too sure about this. I'm not. There are so after a certain point,
it has some fan service stuff too. But...
yeah. After a certain point, there are like some filler episodes which you can completely skip. I did.
Sure.
Because it's like there's this big thing that happens, and then there's filler, and then it ends. Right? That's from what I remember. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember it lasting with me and sticking with me, even when I was really young. So that's why I would say it's a definitive like number 5 for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So that's very similar to my number 5. My number 5, I would say Dragon Ball Z is probably my number 5.
That's a great one.
Mainly because it's not the anime that got me into anime, but it's the first anime that I was like, I love anime.
Yeah.
Specifically. And it's also, I don't know, there's nostalgia glasses there for sure. I grew up watching it week to week in the States, and like as it came out, you know, I was obsessed. Awesome. Me and all my friends were obsessed with it. And then on top of that, like I know it's got some mad pacing problems.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like there's stuff that lasts way too long for sure. But it was so cool. Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time freaking rocked my world.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure when you see that, I wish I could have seen that as a kid, because I was like a Toonami kid. So a lot of my anime came from Toonami, and I feel like that's a lot of people my age. 'Cause I'm a little bit younger than you.
Sure.
So my age group, I remember. One second. Damn it. I remember watching movies like Castle in the Sky on Toonami, which is like probably one of my favorite films of all time. But that one's a good anime film, and certain things like that. I remember seeing Inuyasha growing up, a little bit of Bleach, very vaguely. Zatch Bell was another one that I saw from Toonami, and like that's a crazy manga, which I would love to get into that, but
Zatch Bell's wild.
They had a lot of stuff, and Dragon Ball Z was one of them, because I do remember Dragon Ball Z being on there, and like I remember watching the what was it, the Cell Saga or whatever. That was a big one that I saw.
The Naruto and Dragon Ball Z did some really interesting stuff, because I feel like for two different generations of people, you had animes that felt more just like shows that everyone watched, rather than like a niche anime. Nowadays, anime is kind of like,
it's
everybody's
just kind of
watching. Everybody's just kind of watching whatever. But back then, it was Dragon Ball Z. That was kind of the main one that everybody watched.
Yeah, it's like if you watched anything but Dragon Ball Z, well, that's kind of like all the stuff that I liked growing up. There was a point to where it became cool when we were like older, right? So like when I was growing up, if I was like 14 and I'm like, yeah, I love Pokemon, I feel like I'd get made fun of for that, and people would clown on me for that. But
I feel like I was in a different situation because I was around a lot of music kids, and so like because I was around a lot of music kids, they were nerdy music kids. So it's like they all liked video games. They all were down with Pokemon. They all played World of Warcraft. They all played Magic the Gathering.
Man, that's awesome. I grew up in the boonies, so
they all freaking watched anime. So it's like you learn. What was weird for me was like in high school, that was my group of friends, and then nobody else really watched that stuff. And like we all got made fun of for watching and doing all of those things. And then now it's just like a regular.
It's like way more
like a regular thing.
It's because all the kids grew up and were like, "Oh yeah, we can like what we like," and it's fine. But like kids are cruel, man. I remember like this is just a side story, but it kind of ties into that. I remember I had a YouTube channel when I was like 11 or 12, and then one of the kids from my school found out. We were friends, and he was like, "Oh, that's really cool that you do that." I was so embarrassed when they found out. I was like, oh my God, the secret's out, guys. Like, I'm a nerd. But like now it's like super commonly accepted. So
yeah, it's weird. It's very weird to me to see that now, just from that transition. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z, and I mean it's interesting. There's a reason Dragon Ball Z isn't higher up on my list. I love it immensely, and Super.
It's
I
awesome.
love both of them immensely. But the reason it's number 5 for me is because it's got glaring problems.
Yeah, it's fine.
R.I.P. Akira Toriyama. The creator of Dragon Ball and the whole Dragon Ball franchise recently passed.
Legendary.
And
creator.
also, we talk about video games a lot too. Like, if you have, we have video games that he was involved with, Dragon Quest and all those. I think we mentioned it with Will.
Yeah, and Chrono Trigger
the other week, and Chrono Trigger. Yeah, but yeah, R.I.P. to the GOAT.
Absolutely.
And one of the most major influences in the West on anime.
Yeah.
So,
I will say this. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Go ahead.
One thing I want to add is that my least favorite thing about anime is that there's too much good anime.
Yeah,
because I feel like I can never get around to all of it. So that's like, I want to throw that in there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Number 4 for me would be Death Note. Because I remember watching Death Note, and that period of time is I like to relate my favorite things based on periods of time that I was like enjoying. I wasn't really thriving at this point in my life when I watched Death Note. I was like kind of working some crappy jobs. I was in college. I was going through. It was a very transitional period for me. But I remember where I was. Like I was still living at my parents' house, and my room looked a certain way, and like it triggers a lot of memories of a certain time for me. But I understand that people do not like the way that a certain thing happens in Death Note, and I agree. And I'm sure the manga does it better. I would love to read the manga someday. But for what it is, for what we are given, I think Death Note is still a must see. It's phenomenal. It's, you know, murder mystery, like drama, just a lot of cool characters, very memorable story, and the concepts in that show dealing with like death and like who really has a say on who should die and who shouldn't.
Yeah.
Is very cool, and it resonated with a lot of people because it's a popular anime. So I
Something
think
that Death Note did that was super interesting for me. Something that Death Note did was that I think it was one of the first popular anime that did something so different that wasn't the power scaling dynamic, and it was
Right.
one of the first ones that got popular. Obviously, there's a ton of anime that don't do the power dynamic, power
Yeah.
scaling shonen thing, but it was one of the first super popular anime that I can remember that was like, yeah, there's no like power scale. It's, is this person smarter than the other person? And it's more about like the mystery, these super smart people going at it, and like how are they going to outsmart each other? And
yeah, it's really cool. That's a good
it
point.
definitely showed animes like flexibility as a genre, right? That it's not just these people that are fighting and screaming in tournament arcs. It can also be this other stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like it's just nice, like you said, to not have, because shonen's very popular. It's like the action power scaly, like whatever. And then there's other types of anime. You got like slice of life, and you've got like darker dramatic pieces and like
Sure.
anime films and stuff like that. Like Your Lie in April is a great one, and that's about music and whatever. But yeah, I would have to agree. It's just a cool story. It's a cool concept, and it really stuck with me. I actually have a Death Note on my bookshelf. It's just
Oh, that's cool.
my name may or may not be in it, but
I have the first Black Edition volume of Death Note,
Oh,
and I'm
that's
trying to get all the manga because I really want to like
Yeah.
have all of that and collect all of that.
that's sick. Yeah, so Death Note is my number 4. So
All right, number 4 for me is kind of tough. I'm gonna be honest.
yeah,
Because like there are other ones that I'm like, well, these are definitely higher.
yeah,
And then there's other ones that are like, well, these are definitely not as influential or as good to me as Dragon Ball. So I would have to say probably for the same reason that you like Death Note, I really like number 4, Attack on Titan,
oh yeah,
for a very similar reason.
That's one I need to see.
It's so good. And honestly, it reminds me of a lot of Dune, actually. There's a lot of similar like things that happen in there in the end, but Attack on Titan's awesome. It's dangerous. It feels like nobody's safe. It does that really, really well. It feels like a Dark Souls game that you're watching in an anime form.
from the little I've
basically.
seen, it seems intense. You know,
It's so intense. And then like the twists are really great. It doesn't do the power scale thing at all. So that's where it's kind of similar to Death Note, where it's
Yeah.
like it shows a more survival horror aspect to anime.
yeah,
That's really, really cool.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's like survival horror in the sense of like there are these zombie-esque things that are trying to kill us. So,
Very cool. I know very little about Death Note. I just know that there are Titans. I know that there's different.
oh, Attack on Titan? Yeah.
Sorry, did I say Death Note? I probably did.
Yeah.
Sorry. I can't even get the name right. That's how little I know. But Attack on Titan, I know very little about it, so I'm excited to like jump into that one eventually when I have the time to do so.
Go in as blind as possible.
Oh yeah. I don't really know anything about it. Like all I know is Eren Yeager is like the main guy,
character.
and then there's
Yep.
like that's about it.
Yep.
Mikasa or
That's all you
something
need.
is another.
That's another
don't-
character.
Yeah, I don't.
But
yeah, I'm super.
all
blind about
all
it.
you need to know, you just need to go in 100% blind. Honestly, I would love to see you react to Attack on Titan as a series on your YouTube channel.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, my friend David actually does that. He reacts to anime. Shout out to Hat Guy. We love Hat Guy. David does a lot of that. he will react. I think Demon Slayer, he was doing a Demon Slayer thing, and he does like full reactions and he makes like content out of it. So yeah, that would be something to do for sure. There's
I think, yeah, the Dark Souls. I mean, to me, it is the Dark Souls of anime. So it makes a lot of sense for you to react to this. Yeah, I think it would be an awesome series for you to do, is reacting to Attack on Titan, just raw.
That's sick. That's awesome.
It would be so good. But yeah, I would say that's probably my number 4.
Okay, so we'll do our number 3s and then we'll read
Yeah,
chat after our number 3s.
Yeah, that works.
So my number 3 is Hunter x Hunter. I know. Okay, I'll bring Hunter x Hunter back in this particular discussion, but for now, Hunter x Hunter is amazing. The anime, specifically, like, I wonder when. Let me see when it came out. Hunter x Hunter anime. There's a 99 version which I haven't seen.
There's 2 different versions.
I hope there's a Reddit thread. It's like, will it return in 2024? I'm not sure, but I'm trying to think.
The manga is also kind of on hiatus because of his Tagashi's illness.
Yeah, Tagashi is insane. He's an insane creator, you know, but he's one of my favorites because he's so real. He's like, yeah, creating is great, but it also sucks. Like,
yeah.
So he's
also in pain. Like, he's got a lot of like arm and wrist pain that like makes it impossible for him to draw.
Yeah, he's very human. When did the let's see, it was like 2012 when it came out. 2011 is when it came out. Okay, so the 2011 anime is a must watch, like, in my opinion, because
yes,
I believe that the Chimera Ant arc is one of the greatest arcs in anime. Like, period. Like,
it's a good shout.
You can. There are other good arcs to that show.
I know a lot of people that feel the same.
Yes.
And I tend to disagree.
Really, I want to hear that because
continue.
Well, the Chimera Ant arc, at least relative to the anime, is brilliant. Like, it shows like how do I articulate this properly? Like, it shows, to put it bluntly, how fucked up humankind is. And it's brilliant. It's just so brilliant. I don't want to spoil a lot about it, but like, I guess we've spoiled some things in here, but I guess that goes without saying.
Not really.
But like, also the Phantom Troop arc, I think that's the one that you're talking about, might be your favorite.
York New City is part of the Phantom Troop stuff. That's my favorite.
Yeah, which
that's
also,
my favorite.
I mean, they're neck and neck, honestly. I guess it's like, you know, if you picked either one, nobody would argue it, because that is a great arc too. Because it's crazy with that arc. It's like, what can I talk about? What can I not? I mean, there's the shovel scene with Kurapika is freaking legendary. Kurapika used to be my favorite character. Gon is my favorite character in the show because I'm like very similar to Gon in a lot of ways.
Well, Kurapika is still the only one in the manga. Kurapika and Leorio are the only ones that are still like in the manga right now.
Yeah, because there are certain things that happen that like change that, and then
they kind of like, Gon and Killua kind of go a different direction, and so instead of the manga following either one of them, it follows Kurapika and Leorio.
Well, that's great.
What they're doing right now.
Leorio is actually a great character too, because he doesn't really have powers, but he's got his brain and his kindness. Like, he has a huge heart and a great person. He's like stubborn and kind of like, he's got flaws. He's human, but he's also a very good, well-meaning human being, and like, that's what shines about Leorio's character. I could honestly argue is Leorio being one of my favorite characters because of how human he is, and because of how, like, he might not be the strongest, most powerful, but he is like, he's a great friend to these guys, you know, and he's a little older. He's like got a little more experience than like Gon and Killua in certain aspects, But
Sure.
then, like, I don't know, he's just a great character. So overall, without spoiling really anything, such a phenomenal anime. And I mean, fun fact: Heisenberg and Hunter x Hunter are the two most recognizable tattoos that I have. When people say, "Oh, I like your tattoos," they either point to Heisenberg, which is like one of my personal favorites, or Hunter x Hunter, because it resonates with so many people. And I love that. I love that anime has gotten so much not recommendation. I saw the word
Recognition.
Recognition.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. And I love that
Yeah,
people
for sure.
love it. And I know that manga, like once you get to the Dark Continent, like the anime takes place here. The Dark Continent is like, ooh, and you're like, it's insane.
Yeah, and I think that's also part of the problem is that like
it is.
I
agree.
He could have ended it where the anime ends and been like, all right, cool, that's the end of it, and everybody would have probably been happy.
I think it would have been great if it did end there, because it's sort of open ended. Like you don't really know where like Gon or Killua or all the characters go. It's kind of left ambiguous. I kind of like that in a way, because I know some people like concrete, solid endings. But
I think as long as the loose ends are tied up, you don't need to follow everybody to their death.
That's true. It's like don't frown because it's over, smile because it happened, kind of deal.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, kind of. But also, like the whole point was Gon finding his dad, and it did that.
Yeah.
So all right. So what are we gonna do now? There's some animes that I like that actually fall into that trap that we'll talk about in the honorable mention section.
I will say, if you read the manga, after Gon does all that, it goes into this like big political thing.
Yeah, I know.
So,
and
like,
it does that kind of in the anime a little bit, but it's not nearly as strong.
Yeah,
they leave it for I think they left it out because they weren't sure if the anime was going to continue or not.
Right. So but for what we have, speaking purely on the anime and the merit of what we have, brilliant.
100%.
Brilliant.
Agreed.
Brilliant.
100%.
Love it. Amazing. Now you're number 3.
100%. All right, my number 3. This is a struggle.
It's hard.
This is a struggle, and I kind of have two that I'm probably going to call a tie.
Yeah.
For 3. And it's because there are 2 more above both of these for me that are above both of these, but the ones below them are definitely not as good, but they both fit in this number 3 slot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do one at a time. The first one, Cowboy Bebop.
Oh.
Freaking tastic, dude.
Absolutely.
So good. Killer music.
Oh, yes.
The art style is so nostalgic and so cool.
I think
from like that 80s era stuff.
It was like 2 weeks ago I actually wore a Cowboy Bebop shirt.
Dude, yeah, you did.
Yeah,
and it's so good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it's actually kind of a good starter anime for people that are like, I don't want power scaling, but I want something different.
I want story. I want characters. I want story. I want something interesting.
Yeah.
Boom.
But they also don't want to get too involved in like a big deep story. Like it's pretty episodic. You can kind of take it from episode to episode.
Yes, I haven't finished it personally, but I've watched like half of it, and from what I've seen so far, it's so good. And it finishes in kind of a cool, like what we were talking about, how like we're fine with Hunter x Hunter, like we're fine with it ending where it is, and it just being like loose ends that aren't tied up, and that's fine as long as it tied up the main plot line. And like you don't have to follow these people until they're dead. Cowboy Bebop does that amazingly. The last episode just kind of ends, and you're like, "That's it, cool, that's the end of it." It is so good, and it's such a piece. It's like a period piece of its time. Yeah.
But I don't want to spend too much time on that because my other one that does a very similar thing in both aspects, but is a newer anime, is Vinland Saga.
I've heard that one's really good.
Vinland Saga is so freaking cool.
What is the setting of that? Because I've heard a lot of good things about it. Give me like a rundown of that.
Okay, so it's based in like Nordic Viking kind of deal. So you follow a kid whose dad was this legendary Viking. Some stuff happens. He ends up on a ship. On this guy who's the captain that he hates, and he's basically training under with all of these people to kill the captain,
Mm.
fully known to the captain that that is why he's there.
Yeah.
Like, and so the captain is essentially training him to kill him.
Nice.
And he's like, there's a bunch of other aspects to it because season one is very different, and I would argue you basically have two different seasons. You have one first season, second season, but they do different things. Season one is all about, you know, establishing the character, establishing the world, but also establishing the brutality of war.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second season is that same character realizing that he doesn't want to kill.
Okay.
And like becoming like this totally not different person, but like, you know, more self-aware person.
It's more like him finding himself.
Himself, yes, because he's
awesome.
never been able to because since he was a kid, he's been training to kill people.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic. The animation is so good. Some of the coolest fight scenes. There's no magic that really. Yeah. So I don't know. It's so good. It's one of those different shows that I feel like is going to.
Mm-hmm.
It's when it's completely finished and completely done. It's going to be one of those things where people are going to look back and go, "This is such a special thing." Very similar to Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
This is a very like special thing that's kind of short. That like is pretty brutal in the first season and less brutal in the second season. But has, I don't know, man, just like a beautiful story, like a gorgeous front. Also some of the characters are, I built a D&D character based off of Thorfinn, who's like the main, one of the main guys.
That's cool.
So
I'm definitely gonna have
But
to
yeah.
watch that, and I feel like once I do, all my friends that really love anime are gonna be like, "Oh, you finally saw Vinland Saga? Thank God!"
yeah. Also, the first season intro is a post-hardcore band from Japan.
those are awesome.
Dude, it's so good, and there's like screaming in it and breakdowns and stuff. It's so sick.
Oh, dude, it's like what they did with Attack on Titan, the rumbling, rumbling. Da-da,
Yeah.
and then it goes into the screamy, heavy stuff. Like it's awesome.
Dude, it's so good. It's
That's
so good.
so great.
Let's hop into chat.
Right.
So I missed a ton of stuff.
Me too.
There was one I wanted to talk about. So Eli was saying, he says, you say AOT is the Dark Souls of anime. I'd say Berserk is a good pick also. I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
But Berserk is not done.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Attack on Titan is a complete work.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's my, but I'm not disagreeing with you on that either, because Berserk is basically Dark Souls
there's
the
tons
anime.
of Berserk that is like it led to the influence of a lot of things in Dark Souls. Like
Pretty much all of Dark Souls is somebody said, I want to make a video game.
you
off
can make
Berserk.
a guts build in every game, which is really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it's 100% based off of that manga, anime, as well. Let's see.
Tristan, shout out to Tristan, says Sword Art Online and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood are great gateway anime as well. I agree.
100%. They were really good.
Yeah, anything Full Metal related.
Well, Full Metal also was coming out around the same time.
Yeah.
As a lot of these ones that we were talking about, alongside like the Dragon Balls and the Narutos, and like not the first version came out with around the Dragon Ball era, and then the Brotherhood version came out around the Naruto era. So yeah, they definitely were alongside a lot of these big gateway animes. Also, the story is so concise.
Right, yeah. And then Hurricane E, thanks for showing up. Appreciate that. I noticed that you're new. Sorry about that. Vampire Hunter D. I've heard of this, I think, but I don't know.
Vampire Hunter is awesome.
It kind of brings into mind the Castlevania show, which is not technically it's not technically anime because it's Western.
No, it's an anime.
Is it?
It was, yeah, I think it was animated by a Japanese studio.
Okay, well if that's the case, then yeah, because Castlevania was also really damn good. Damn good. Sorry,
I found a bunch of D&D builds for every character in that anime.
Imagine Jimmy from South Park rating anime. I think that's really
Jesus.
fucking good. Yeah, that's awesome. I really like Naruto. Anyway,
All right. So here's where I'm gonna have my discourse with you, Brooks.
okay.
I've
Let's do it.
still got to finish the Chimera arc. I'm like 2 episodes in. This is Chaz, who also had to leave, by the way.
Yeah. We love Chaz.
Shout out Chaz. I've still got to finish the Chimera arc. I'm like 2 episodes in. I keep forgetting to finish it. So the one problem I have, I love the development of the Chimera Ant arc. I think it's really cool. I think the ending is sick. Some of the coolest combats. The combat with the head of the hunter organization and like is so freaking sick. And them just all falling from the sky and stuff and fighting all the ants.
It's beautiful.
Oh man. So they're really cool. Some of the coolest stuff. I don't like the pacing.
I can understand that.
I do not like the pacing. It loses me so often because it feels like they're unnecessarily stretching parts when they never did that in literally any of the rest of the anime. There's no filler in that anime. It's straight back to back to back until you kind of get to that Chimera Ant arc and like they're doing cutaways and stuff like that to me wasn't really necessary. Stuff just took super long. Like combats took a little bit longer than previous combats have in Hunter x Hunter. This is all just my opinion.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. Because I want to add to that as to why it is. The Chimera Ant arc is a slow burn. It is absolutely.
Yes, it's very much a slow burn.
Because in the beginning, Netero is basically like, no, these kids can't go there yet. They're not ready. Yeah, and then they have to get them acclimated to that level of threat. Because before they thought that, because I haven't seen it in a while, but they survived the big tower arc, the tower tournament arc, and then they did Greed Island, which is I love that.
The video game thing.
It's definitely my least favorite arc, I think, but it's great.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I liked it. It's definitely not as good.
If
but
I had to
think
pick
it's
a
really
least
cool.
it's like if all the other ones are 10s, that one's like a 9 for me. So that's sort of how I feel about that one. The villain wasn't as strong, but the concept is awesome. I mean, being in a video game. But yeah, so they have to get acclimated to this new level of because they have like the threat levels and like the Chimera Ants are like, holy shit, So it does take a while to get to the thing, and there are parts in the Chimera Ant arc that you're just like, hit something, Yeah. So I do get that. I can absolutely agree, and I think that the Phantom Troop arc with York New,
it's a lot better paced in my opinion.
There's also less episodes, so it is just like And
there are less episodes, aren't there? Or no, is it the same?
Chimera Ant arc's the biggest one. It's the longest one.
Okay. Yeah, York New and like the Phantom Troop stuff just feels so clean and so like you're just hopping in. Everything's happening. Yeah, it's stressful. It's intense the whole time.
I will say,
that's kind of why I like it.
The two things I wish. Well, actually, if there are three things I wish. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the other reason is that the Chimera Ant arc is a outlier in the rest of the series. If you think about it that way.
Yeah.
So like
right.
Hunter exam, pretty fast. Like York New, super fast.
Yeah.
Tower, everything happens quick.
Fighting, yeah.
And Greed Island, it's pretty fast. Like everything's quick, so nothing ever lingers. And then you hit Chimera Ant arc. That's why I feel it's like just the pacing is so different from the rest of it.
That's a great point because I will agree that like it is something that you either like it or you don't. Like you have to get used to it because it is a slow burn. I feel like I'm one of those people. I guess I just gravitate more towards those because I've heard the same thing from Breaking Bad. Because I've heard that like people who are starting Breaking Bad for the first time are like, oh, this is kind of slow. And that's how it was. That's how people received it when it was airing live. Yeah. When it first came out, people were like, not really into this. But by the end of the show, they're like, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I
don't mind slow stuff. It's the fact that literally the other fifth of the rest of the anime is super
Right.
fast,
So you're
and then all
already-
of a
yeah.
sudden they just decided to make it slow.
Your expectations are here, and then you get to that, and it's like, oh, it's kind of
Yeah.
It kind of I totally get it.
Yeah,
So,
it starts dragging for seemingly no reason.
While it doesn't
But-
impact the actual quality of it, I can understand why you would
Yeah.
not
No,
be into it
that's
as much.
Definitely
That's,
a preference for sure.
Completely fair, and that's something
Yeah.
I didn't even consider until you brought it up. So
Yeah.
totally a fair assessment of that for sure.
Me and Andy have that argument all the time because that's Hunter x Hunter is his favorite anime.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Andy's a lot more opinionated than I am.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
he is super.
He's like, no,
when it
Andrew,
comes-
you gotta like
when
the
it comes
Chimera Ant.
when it comes to that arc, especially, he loves that arc.
That's
so much.
awesome. It's great. It's my personal favorite, and it is a slower one. But that whole show's great. So it's like,
I also want to point out this from Novice. Shout out Novice. I did like Hunter x Hunter's nin system because it was dependent on the user, but also relatively flexible.
yeah,
So I agree. The crazy thing, and this, I agree. Why I love the nin system. I think it is actually the best system. It might be the best power system in all of anime.
it's brilliant.
And manga. The reason I love it so much is because yes, people can be innately more powerful, but people that are weaker than you can outthink you. If you're smart enough,
Yeah.
and you're creative enough with your ability, you can beat people 4 rungs
Yeah.
stronger than you.
Yeah, because for example, Kurapika versus I want to make sure I get his name right. Hold on.
Oh, the guy from the Phantom Troop, the spider.
I want to get It's hold on. Somebody will put it in the comments. Some true.
People are screaming at you right now.
I'm sure.
It's that guy,
It's Uvo.
Uvo.
So Uvo. So he is purely strength. Like he's like Uvo.
He's the meathead.
Yeah. That's what I would be if I was a nin user. Like
Yeah.
I would just be total unga bunga strength. He can literally yell so loud that he destroys his enemies. Like that's just funny. That's the way I think, and that's why
Yeah.
Gon is very relatable to me because I think very simple. At least I try
Yeah.
to think very simple about things. Is how I approach music, how I approach editing, how I approach everything is very simple. So when Gon develops his nin,
Rock.
and
Yeah.
the rock paper scissors, I'm like, that is totally something I would do because it's very simple. It's childish, but in a good way. You know, it's like very
Yeah.
basic. So when Uvo fights Kurapika is nowhere near as strong as this guy, but Kurapika's special nin power allows him to overcome that specific, because he dedicated his life to defeating the Phantom Troop. So that's why that's a totally
Yeah.
good point, because like Kurapika is smarter and more equipped to
Yeah.
handle certain threats. So that's why the nin system is. That's a really
super cool.
great example as to why the nin system. And then you have people like Crollo who can just do whatever the fuck they want. But
Yeah. But still get their butts handed to them.
yeah. So one thing I want to say, 3 things I wish that I got out of Hunter x Hunter, and then I'll move on to number 2,
Yeah.
is I wish we got a little more Crollo. I wish we got a little more Zoldyck family. And I wish it ended, for Tagashi's sake, it ended where you suggested that it ended.
Yeah.
That's it. I still think it's brilliant. I still love it. It doesn't change how I feel about it. Those are the things I just wish happened
Now
canonically.
you do get more Crollo in the manga.
That's true. That is true.
Like immediately, the next arc after where the anime ends
Yeah.
in the manga, it's Crollo immediately. So,
Yeah.
it's just pretty cool. It's another tournament arc, but it's pretty sick.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's Hisoka v Crollo, which is really sick.
It's a crazy fight too.
Yeah, it's wild.
And
They do some wild
Yeah,
stuff.
Hisoka is very intelligent, but I feel like Crollo is just a league above. I would have loved to seen Crollo versus the Chimera Ants,
Yeah, that would have been really
or
interesting.
Hisoka versus the Chimera Ants. I know it didn't
Yeah.
happen, but like that dynamic would have been really interesting to see.
For sure.
Anyways, so we'll hop into my number 2.
Number 2.
Jumping off of Tagashi, Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho. Here's why I said this is coming back. I think Hunter x Hunter is objectively better than Yu Yu Hakusho. However, I like it more because it was my first full experience with Tagashi's work. Like, I watched all of Yu Yu Hakusho before Hunter x Hunter entered my life. Yu Yu Hakusho has one of the greatest tournament arcs in all of anime, arguably the best, with the Dark Tournament. I love the character of Yusuke. I love his friends like Karama, Hiei, and then why is his Kuwabara. That name escaped me, like my brain rot. Kuwabara he's such a loyal friend. He's probably one of my favorite characters because like he doesn't really like, he's powerful in his own right. Like he's very like he's got the most stamina out of the group. Like he can almost take the most aside from like maybe Yusuke, but Yusuke is special for a lot of reasons. But he is so supportive, and he's such a great supporting character for these people, and he's a great morale booster. And like, I love the show, and I know that the show's flawed in some ways because like when Yusuke fights Hiei, it's a little contrived, a little bit like, oh, he just happened to have the mirror and it shot back, and he's like, oh, I planned that ahead from the start, But like, it's still fun, it's still entertaining. And the power scaling of the certain characters, and it does end kind of dips
abruptly.
Off. It ends very abruptly, but because of Tagashi and his illness. I want to make sure I'm saying his name right. Yoshihiro Tagashi. Okay, Yoshihiro Tagashi.
Tagashi. It's Tagashi.
Togashi. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's Togashi. But it's I have a lot to say about Yu Yu Hakusho.
I'll say
for later.
My next big tattoo is going to be the Yu Yu Hakusho logo right here on my arm.
The ghost stories ghost.
Yeah, it's like the title of the thing in
Yeah.
Japanese, so that's why I want it to go here to fill out this big slab of meat.
Nice.
So that's my next one.
All right, so my number 2, and this is only number 2.
Yeah.
Because number 1 has nostalgia on it.
Of course.
And number 1 is done.
Yeah.
That's One Piece.
Oh yeah.
One Piece. I have my straw hat over here.
Yeah.
I got Chopper right back here behind me.
One of my next tattoos is Brook. I mean, Brook is literally that's me. That's literally me, and a character minus the hair, because he has
minus the hair and the asking for girls' panties all the time.
I don't do that.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
I want to go on record to say that I've never done that in my entire life. Just to assure you, I've not done that. Nor have I ever had an afro. My dad actually did when he was my age, or when he was like younger 20s. My dad was this like goofy white dude with like a big dark brown afro, and it was crazy. So my dad was Brook at one point, and he did play guitar. So
that's amazing. He was the Soul King.
Yeah.
That's the I think One Piece will probably end up being one of the greatest stories ever told in the longevity and the depth and how good everything is.
Yeah.
And yes, it is riddled with problems as far as like pacing. It's got so many pacing issues. It's got like Naruto Shippuden level bad pacing issues.
Yeah.
It's got Chloe says, "Ain't no way," for the record.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, it's one of those. I think it's going to be one of the greatest stories ever told. All up there with some of the greats. It's going to be one of the longest stories ever told, up there with like the likes of Doctor Who. It's going to be one of those things. And this is kind of what I've told people that are kind of into anime, that are like, I need something that's really good but is still like traditionally anime.
Oh yeah.
I always tell them.
It's a shonen classic. Yeah.
Yeah, but sit on One Piece. We're still getting One Piece fans right now are eating, bro. Like, I actually want you to watch a clip from because you have not seen very much of One Piece at all.
I haven't. I've seen. Okay, so I've seen the beginning because I watched the beginning a long time ago with Dylan, and I also have seen. Is it Gear 5 Luffy?
Yeah.
So
I want you to see. I want you to see. I'm gonna drop.
Ouch.
I'm gonna drop a link for you. Hold on one second. I gotta find the right one. I think it's this one.
Oh, I froze this. Oh, whoops, sorry. There we go.
No, you're good. I'm drop. Yeah.
Oh, I'm still frozen. Watch this. Let's see.
No, you are.
This is how you make
frozen.
Brooks disappear. There we go.
I dropped it in our chat.
Okay.
But while you're pulling that up, I want you to watch it real quick. It's just a clip from a more recent, just to show you where the animation gets to eventually. It's crazy.
All right, I need to. I think I closed out. Okay, 1 second. We're gonna go off for a second. Uh-oh. I think I just totally. Oh, I'm still in the call, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. I might actually cut this out from the actual recording, but I want to make sure that
I'm about to say I don't understand what you're doing right now, but
I'm pulling up the clip. But so let me get here. I need to get everything back to normal because OBS. I turned OBS off, right? And so I have to pop this back out. So I deleted the other one before. So see, now we're back. We're back. Sorry, fellas.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah. So we disappeared, but now I got everything ready to go. So
anyway, so I think One Piece is slow, but it needs to be.
Yeah.
And it establishes its pacing kind of slow early on. It does a really good job of getting you invested into all of the characters as you meet them very heavily, and that never stops.
Yeah.
But the animation is very, very 80s, 90s.
Yeah, it's
anime.
It's like high res 80s, 90s.
But now the anime is totally different, and so you need to watch.
So we're gonna watch this clip.
This is a clip from one of the most recent episodes.
Luffy versus Lucci. I'm assuming is Lucci.
Yeah.
How much can I watch of this without getting copywritten?
You should be able to watch all of it.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, you should be able to watch all of it. Just like look how clean it all looks comparatively.
Nice. I'm gonna skip ahead just in case.
No, you're good.
Oh wow! Look how smooth that is.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Just like it flows like water. The animation. One thing I have noticed about the show is that the animation is beautiful, and a lot of people
it is
talk
really
about
really
it.
good. So wait until you start getting into like the more intense stuff.
Amazing. Whoa.
That's crazy, right?
The music is really good too. If you listen to the music.
So skip ahead like a little bit. Right there is good.
Oh. What is this, like a different gear?
This is Gear 5. They've already introduced Gear 5 at this point.
Oh. Oh, I do know this.
But they've already introduced it at this point in the anime a couple times.
Oh, is this after Kaido?
Yeah, this is post Kaido.
Oh.
This literally like just came out like recently.
Ah. Amazing.
It's just beautiful.
It is. Sorry I had to chop that a little bit. Yeah, One Piece. This one that I've got to see before the end of my lifetime.
And that was episode 1100.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome though.
But it's so good. It's like it's one of those that it's I don't know. It just progressively gets better and better and better and better and better, and the story just continues to get better and better and better.
Right.
You love every character for different reasons, and I don't know. I mean, there's definitely obviously got its problems. It's not for everybody for
Yeah.
sure, but I think that everybody should give it a try and get through the first 50 or so episodes, mainly because all the episodes are super short. They're like 18 minutes apiece. So
That's great. I will definitely have to, because every anime friend that I have loves One Piece, and they're like,
Oh, yeah.
they're like caught up. Like,
yeah, I
that's how
know. Me and Patty were talking about it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Okay. So honorable mentions right before we hop into
Yep.
number one, and then
Honorable
we'll
mentions.
We'll scroll through chat one more last time, and then we'll do that. Honorable mentions. Gotta say Berserk. The
Yep.
reason that it's not top 5 anime is because the manga is the perfect version of
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
I have seen the Berserk anime, and the 90s
Both of them.
the 90s anime is good. The new anime is dog ass. It's not. It doesn't.
Apparently they're doing it again. Apparently they're redoing it again, and
It's-
it's not going to be 3D. It's
And
not
the
going to
thing-
be.
Oh well,
all
that is
that.
good. I want that.
Yeah.
Yes, give it
yeah.
to me. So-
Apparently it's going to be. They're trying to do it new gen anime style.
Oh, I hope it starts with him and the creature.
It'll start. Yeah, it will. Well, I'm saying like if they're going to do it, they're going to do it
Yeah, I hope they do it in order.
verbatim from the manga. Yeah, they're going
Okay,
to do
well,
it
if
in
that's
order.
the case, then I'm so down for that. Because the 90s anime of Berserk is good, but it's only one big arc. It's the arc that, like, let me see what, there's the name of it. It's the,
Golden Age.
oh, it is the Golden Age arc. Okay, you're
Yeah.
right. It was on the tip of my tongue. Golden Age arc. The Golden Age arc
Yeah, yeah.
is all the 90s anime, and it gets from the point to where, like, you start with Guts when he's like a teenager, and then he gets introduced to Casca and Griffith, and
Yeah.
then you go, and then everything unfolds the way it does.
Sure.
So I enjoyed the newer version of the anime, but it was the first thing I watched. I think I remember talking to Chloe about it specifically because I watched that, and then I told them about it. Because at first I didn't really see anything wrong with it, because I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's Berserk. Maybe I was like super on the hype train for Berserk, and then I watched people talk about it, and the people that talk about anime are people that, like, for the most part, know what they're talking about and are very seasoned. If you're watching, it's like Carthu. Like Carthu, I would never ever want to debate DBZ with Carthu unless I was at his level. I'm like it's like Mr. Satan versus Cell. Like, just like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no contest to that. So, and then I saw what they were saying, and then once I recontextualized that with the actual flaws, and they were like, these are fans, and I was just getting into Berserk. They were like, oh, this is crap, this is crap, this is crap. And then I watched it again, and I was like, well, they're right.
Yeah, I mean,
I still enjoyed it for what it was, and I enjoyed that it was made, but it does not do service to the actual source material.
For sure.
That's why Berserk is not one of my favorite. I think Berserk might
one of the
be-
greatest manga of all time.
It
though.
might be the greatest manga of all time. It might be.
I have not read it in its entirety, so I would not know.
Because it's such a... It's not done yet, technically.
No, I know, but I'm saying he isn't alive anymore.
But, like,
but
enough of it is done to where you can enjoy a lot of it. However, I think I've heard rumors, or read online rumors, that... why am I blanking on his name?
I don't know, because the guy that made it died.
I know. Why am I forgetting his name? I always forget this kind of stuff. Kentaro Miura. Miura. I hope I pronounced that right. Kentaro.
You're American, it's fine.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. So Kentaro Miura tragically passed away at age 54, which is young. It's kind of like Iwata. Like, they were both very young when they passed away. But I've heard and read rumors online that it's going to be finished by his friends.
Which would be awesome.
That know Miura's work and know his heart and know his vision.
He's also probably got the storyboard done.
Yeah.
Like he
So
knows where it's going to be done, so it's just getting it from point A to point B.
yeah, it's just finishing that. The art in Berserk is beautiful. The story is beautiful. The characters are
Hmm.
beautiful. It's just not my favorite anime because the anime adaptations aren't great.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do like the
Uh,
'90s anime, and that's where you get the Guts theme and the music. So I
yeah,
would consider that to be great in its own right,
sure.
but it's not everything. You want more
Yeah,
after you see that. So
yeah.
that's my honorable mention. A few
So
more honorable mentions for me are
yeah,
Seven Deadly Sins. I thought it was fun, but it didn't really stick with me. But
sure.
it's interesting if you like anime. Like it's a Netflix anime.
Hmm.
Castlevania, 1 and 2.
So good.
Um, I just love Castlevania in general. So like
Hmm.
watching it being animated like that was a treat. Uh, Zatch Bell again because Zatch Bell I feel like is very niche, but I did enjoy the manga when I was younger.
Yeah.
And what else? Pokemon. I
Yep.
personally do not like the Pokemon anime, but I know that a lot of people do. I love the
Old one or
original.
new one or any of them.
I love the original series because it's really hokey and cheesy.
Yep.
Anything in the middle is not great. The animation for like Gen wherever they were in
The newer ones, yeah.
those are awesome. Like
They look beautiful.
the looks
We watched them
alone.
with Micah.
I don't know if the stories are good. They probably aren't great, but like
They remind me of early Pokemon.
yeah, yeah.
Just like aimed at newer children.
I've never viewed Pokemon as very deep when it
No.
comes to anime. I feel like it's just made to sell the brand. But one
made for
last
children.
honorable mention I want to throw in is like Pokemon Generations. And like
Okay.
the stuff if you've ever seen those where they have their own it's like Pokemon Generations and Pokemon let me
Adventures, the manga.
not the manga but
The Pokemon Adventures manga is supposed to be.
oh yeah,
baller.
I've heard it's really good. There's Pokemon Generations, and then Pokemon. There's another series of Pokemon stuff, and it's like the original, like story of Red and Blue. People in the chat know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Generations is really great because they're like little snippets. Oh, Pokemon Evolutions is the other one,
Interesting.
and then I can't remember exactly. Maybe I'm thinking of the same thing, but it was good. Anything that isn't like the mainline series is really rad. I think.
Sure.
So those are my honorable mentions, and there's so many that I'm missing. Like I've never seen
So-
Bleach, never seen Inuyasha.
I've never seen
fully,
Bleach
so-
either, or Inuyasha. So my honorable mentions. I can start with the Pokemon since you kind of ended on that. I loved the early stuff.
Mhm.
There was like a really good span of Pokemon from it essentially was what would be considered the first game to the third game
Mhm.
of anime. Those are really fun. Pokemon Johto, fantastic. You had Orange Islands, it was fantastic.
Those are cool, yeah.
So like him going through all of those places were super sick. It was very different. You got to see a progression. Then when they switched over to the new animation style, and I guess Netflix bought it,
Mhm.
some of it's okay. So the cool thing that they did is they didn't just say those shows don't exist. They build on them, which is kind of cool. So like the first one that picks up after the non-Netflix shows is Pokemon Journeys,
Mhm.
and it picks up with Ash meeting a new character, and they become friends and become like working for a professor. And then, but when he goes to a new, when he goes to a region, when he goes to a new region, or they go to a region, he already knows people in those regions, and so he just meets up with those people again.
Cool.
So like when he goes to Pallet or goes to an area to see Professor Oak, they don't act like they don't know each other. He goes and meets Brock and Misty. There's like multiple different episodes with Brock and Misty where they're like doing stuff again and they're talking about old times and there's flashbacks to old episodes. Or they go to Johto and he meets old people, or he goes to Kalos and meets people, or he
Yeah.
goes to where Sun and Moon was. on the island?
Oh,
Where
no.
where was Sun and Moon at?
I'm
Brooks?
blanking.
Where was Sun and Moon at, Brooks?
I think it starts with a. Where is that region? I'm blanking.
What's the region? You're the Pokemon guy.
I'm getting old. Anything past Gen 5, I'm like,
Alola.
Alola. You're right. Oh, yeah. Alolan Muck is one of my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah. So
Thank you,
Alola's like when he goes back to Alola, he meets up with the school of friends that he had there. So it's like it's really good at being consistent with that. But I agree, it's definitely not.
Oh, it was Pokemon Origins. That's what it was.
Okay.
The original story of Red and Blue, and it's done.
Got it.
But they introduced Mega Evolution, so
Got
it's that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite piece of Pokemon anime because it starts with Red getting Charmander and Blue getting Squirtle, and they go through. It's like beat by beat for the games, but it's actually done really, really well.
That's
Pokemon
cool.
Origins is really badass. I love it.
So, but yeah, no, there's some super cool stuff in the newer ones, but it's definitely for children, and like we definitely let our 3-year-old watch it because
that's
he
fine.
loves
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of what it's for.
That's what it's for.
When a 27-year-old man is like,
Yeah.
Pokemon's not that good as an anime. Like it's kind of probably for a reason.
Sure. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not for you.
Anything can be enjoyed at any age.
Sure.
You know.
So more of mine. There are Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Good, but I would argue that its best way to be enjoyed is the manga. Personally,
Interesting.
It is a fantastic manga. Like so clean, and the drawings are beautiful. I got the Full Metal editions of all of them, and it's like this nice paper, and it's half of it's colored, and it's really beautiful. Anyway,
That's great.
it's I would argue that is better. I enjoy it more reading it than I do watching it. Some newer ones, Jujutsu Kaisen, shout out for best animation. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Solo Leveling, if you guys aren't watching Solo Leveling right now, I think it's going to be the next massive thing. The premise of it is kind of a reverse isekai.
Nice.
So it's like instead of people being transported to a new world, all of the monsters get transported into their world.
Yep.
And they all get like abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Solo Leveling, awesome.
That's
You
cool.
should check it out. It's super cool. It's very video gamey.
That's nice.
So
Three
you
more
would probably
for
like
me.
that a lot.
I've heard. I've never seen it, but Hajime no Ippo is Carthy recommended that to me. I've heard it's a boxing anime. Grappler Baki is also a cool one that I've seen. I love martial arts shows and like anime, so those are cool. Baki's more like it is a fantasy, but it's rooted in like real martial arts.
Yeah.
But there are some like crazy things that happen and that couldn't happen IRL.
Baki's wild, bro.
Baki is nuts.
Baki is one of those shows that you watch it and you're like, this is how do you come up with this?
Oh,
It's
I
very
know.
similar to like JoJo's for me.
Yeah,
It's
there,
like in
there
that
was
same
one
kind
more.
of
There was one more that I was thinking of that was really really good, or just something to recommend, but it'll come to me later.
Well, anyway, so Mashal, I'm watching a lot of Mashal right now.
Oh, cool.
Which is essentially like if you took Saitama from One Punch Man and put him in the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah. One Punch Man's also a great recommendation.
Sure, but Mashal's basically tropey, on intentionally tropey, and that's why it's funny
Nice
to me. So
yeah, let's read some of the chat before we get into our
super
number
good. Let's
ones.
hop into chat real quick.
I honestly thought One Piece would have been your number one, so I'm excited to hear what it is.
No.
For me, we'll get there. 10 out of 10 would recommend Tower of God. I've heard of that, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
Solo
Tower of God
Leveling is
looks
good.
super cool. Solo leveling is so fun, and I would also say, as a person who loves RPG style games and like those types of games, it's literally he finds himself the character as an RPG character.
Yeah, and there's so many good anime. I've never seen Demon Slayer either, and I've heard people like it, but like I don't know anything about it.
Basically, if you like Sword Art Online, the first season of Sword Art Online, you're gonna like Solo Leveling. They're very, very similar.
Yeah, and then
in
there's
that, like,
Fairy Tail
setup.
too, which Dylan liked a long time ago.
Fairy Tail is like that's more of a
And then there's
that's
Blue
more of a high
Dragon,
fantasy
which I don't know
thing.
anything about, but there's a lot
I don't know
of
Blue
cool-
Dragon. I don't know Blue Dragon. I know Blue Exorcist.
Oh, Blue
and,
Exorcist. That's what I meant. I'm stupid. Don't listen to me. Novice said their favorite companion was Dawn, and I agree because I remember watching that when it was coming out, when Diamond and Pearl were coming out. I would call Dylan on the phone for like 7 hours and just play Diamond and Pearl. That's before like Skype and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was really great. It was a great time, very innocent time. But Dawn was my favorite companion, for sure.
But yeah, no, there's some good ones out there. There's some that I'm currently getting into Fire Force. It looks really, really cool. I've watched a couple episodes of that, and I'm super excited to like finish up that because I've seen it's got some of the coolest sound design I've ever seen. Demon Slayer's fun, super popular, obviously. It's got beautiful animation. It kind of suffers from the pacing problems for me sometimes. It's a little slow in some places, but I enjoy it. And like I said, I don't mind slow stuff if it's intentionally slow or if the rest of it hasn't been set up to not be slow.
I totally understand that. That could be jarring. So, number one favorite anime. I don't know if you can see it. You can't really see it. I just recently got the Joestar on my track.
Oh, nice.
And I also have this, that is Giorno's brooch symbol from the manga. It's pink and purple because in the manga he has a blue suit with a pink and purple brooch, but in the anime he has a pink suit with a blue and navy blue brooch. So it's supposed to be a ladybug. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the best goddamn shit I've ever seen. And it fits me so well because I am professionally a moron. And that show is so silly and so everything that I love. It's goofy. It's bizarre. I mean, it is bizarre. It's heartwarming. It's heartbreaking. It's poignant. It's just well made. Maybe not part 6. Most of it is well made. And I loved it ever since Phantom Blood. Like when I started Phantom Blood, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is good. And then it just, like you said about One Piece, how the characters just get better and better and better and better and better. Literally, the quality, and the manga does a lot of the quality control for that. So you can't really rely on the anime for everything to be perfect, but the manga is better in a lot of ways. But the quality of JoJo just skyrockets like this. It's constantly going up and up and up. And I haven't read the manga from like Steel Ball Run, like part 7 onward. But like just speaking solely for the anime, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is my favorite of all time.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Amazing. I know a lot of people love it. I have actually never seen JoJo's.
And the thing is, I'm calling out my friends right now. A lot of y'all bastards ain't even watched it. You can watch. Yeah. How can you watch 1,100 episodes of One Piece, but you can't even watch JoJo?
No, that's fair. I have not ever watched JoJo, mainly because it's... I don't know. I feel like I'd probably like it, but I'm invested heavily in a lot of other things.
Yeah, I know. I know. So the thing about JoJo is there is a continuous story, but it's also self-contained. Part 1, part 2, all the parts are their own little chunk of a greater world, and I love that concept because
it's a very different concept.
Yeah, the Joestar bloodline flows. It's kind of like the Bible, how literally every. Like, you start from the Old Testament and somehow, some way, everything gets to Jesus. It's kind of that way. You heard it here first, folks. JoJo is the Bible.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus is a character in JoJo.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, Jesus actually does make Jesus was the original Joestar.
That's amazing.
Jesus was the first JoJo. Yeah, well, it's funny because like the bloodline continues all the way, and they do it in such interesting. Like for example, Giorno is part Dio and part Jonathan, so he's got the best of both of those characters, and Giorno's his own thing. A lot of people love part 5 as their favorite. I am so torn on what my favorite part is because
a lot of people love part 4, right?
Part 4 is amazing. So Stardust Crusaders is like the popular one. It's not. In terms of quality, it could be a little better, and it does drag a little bit, but it's still iconic as hell. Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, is beautiful.
That's Dio, right? Isn't Dio part 4?
Dio's parts 1 through 3, and
Okay.
that's the focus of the main villain. And then, because Dio follows them throughout all the way through part 6 in some form or fashion.
Sure.
But part 3 really focuses on Dio the most.
Yeah.
Aside from like Phantom Blood, but whatever.
Yeah.
Dio's kind of absent from part 2, but part 4 is that's like the slice of life.
Yeah, that's the one.
So it's like slice of life, murder mystery combined, and it's very unique. Part 5 is like a mafia story. Part 6 is like a prison narrative, or a prison narrative. But there's also like religion.
It's a female lead on 6, right?
Yeah, it's Jolene.
Yeah.
So, but it's more of a prison/religious take, because religion has a lot to do with
the way it works,
with the story and how it unfolds and how it ends, essentially. But all that to say, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is everything I could possibly ask for. It's funny, it is quirky, it has continuity, but it's also self-contained. The ideas presented are amazing. And why am I forgetting every artist's name?
What are you talking about? Mangaka?
Hirohiko Araki. That's
the mangaka.
Yeah. Why am I forgetting every mangaka that ever existed? But Araki is amazing. He has made some amazing things, and he's clearly a very inspired individual. And the fact that the quality evolves over time and it doesn't stay stagnant, it always is trying to do something different. It's always trying to, be better than it was before. That alone is enough for me.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite anime.
Yeah, that's fair. Drum roll. My favorite anime is VeggieTales. No, I'm just kidding.
Hell yeah. Weed eater.
It's Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite of all time.
Yes.
Of all time.
Yes.
And I will say the only reason that it beats out One Piece is purely for nostalgia reasons.
Oh yeah.
Purely for nostalgia reasons.
It's a great one.
It's
it almost
so
is my favorite.
It's so good. It's got everything. It's got great characters. It's got interesting world. It's got BA tournament. It's got like every fight is cool pretty much. And like I'm rewatching it right now because I haven't watched it in a really long time, and like I'm post Dark Tournament with all of the like weird like bug stuff and all that, and like it's super cool. It's still interesting. Like I'm not bored. I'm intrigued by all of these people. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I know what happens, but like it's still one of those things where it's like obviously the ending's not the greatest, but
it ends.
It ends.
Yeah, it sure
and
does.
That's better than Hunter x Hunter. So
yeah, I love Yu Yu Hakusho so much. Like you said, with nostalgia too. Like I remember exactly where I was when I was doing the first time I really, really dug into it. It was like New Year's Eve, like probably 6 to 8 years ago at this point, maybe almost a decade. And it was New Year's Eve. I was by myself. Everybody else was out doing something. I was just in my room watching Yu Yu Hakusho, and it was a pretty good time. Like I wasn't super stressed. Wasn't a lot going on. And I watched it just in order, just binged it. And that was a really, really cool time. And I was so sad when the last episode was over. It's like when you get into something that you really love, it's like when Breaking Bad ended, I was like, it's done. Same with Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul ended, and I was like,
again. Yeah.
Man.
No, yeah, it's one of those things where obviously it's got ending problems, and the other major issue is that like there's no clearly defined power system. It's got a very vague power system, which is fine. It happens, but
It's fine.
I just love. I think the characters are so incredibly strong that it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
the negative, the how much I love the characters and how good the characters are and how good Yusuke is as a protagonist and the episode 1 to last episode Yusuke growth and
Oh,
development
yeah.
is just
Yeah.
so crazy
It's
to
an
watch.
insane character growth because it goes from the stubborn juvenile delinquent kid to being somebody who's okay with losing a fight. And like the Yusuke that's okay with not being the strongest is a huge development because
dude,
there are
it's
demons
crazy.
out there that match him or are stronger than him because he loses a tournament, I think. I don't remember which one specifically, but
He loses a couple times, but yeah.
but he is okay with that. And it's okay to lose. Like, it's not like everybody does it eventually. I mean,
Yeah, but it's a cool. I don't know. It's so good. But literally, the only thing that makes it. There are two reasons that make it number one over One Piece for me, and that is nostalgia, and
Yeah.
number two, it's finished.
yeah. Well, nostalgia, I think I've always argued that nostalgia is
It's a massive factor.
it's a massive factor, and it's okay that it's a factor. You can enjoy things purely on nostalgia, but you can also, if somebody's like, hey, it's flawed in this way, I'm like, yeah, I know, I still like it because I remember it when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what a lot of people do nowadays when it comes to media, and like, not a lot of new things come out, but like, a lot of people try to capitalize. I could be wrong about that, but a lot of people try to capitalize specifically on nostalgia.
Nostalgia plays are a thing.
Yeah, it's like nostalgia baiting almost.
Yeah.
So, but
No,
yeah,
it's super cool.
it reminds.
Yeah,
So the
there's so
power
many
system-
good.
Yeah.
There's so many good things about that show, just in general. But
Yeah, the power system is pretty basic and vague, but
Yeah.
it goes on. You get like a S something class demon. It's like they're just different classes of power, and it kind of just
Yeah,
goes
but
straight up.
Yeah, it doesn't really but it doesn't give you any nuance. So, and I think that's where Tagashi did such a good job of
Right.
Tagashi has always been like a character guy
Yeah,
from what I've read, and like you can tell just between the two major franchises he's
yeah,
written.
he
is,
revolutionized the power system. So did Araki. He was stuck in a rut with part 1 and 2, and then part 3 stands happen. Stands
Yeah.
can be anything. They can
Yeah.
literally do anything. Part 3 shows that clearly they can do anything, and the stands
Mm-hmm.
get more and more and more and more complex.
Yeah.
And some of them are really simple. Like I'm pretty sure in part 7, the stand literally just shoots like nail bullets.
that's so cool.
But
though.
it's based, and it's more than that. It is more than that.
yeah, yeah,
But like it is based on the concept of this like spin, like a cycle
Yeah.
type thing that is like very and there's like dimensional travel and stuff like that. But
Sure.
like for example, Giorno's a little complicated, but like let's talk about Josuke. Josuke is like he can I mean he's pretty strong. He's relatively strong, but his stand it heals, it puts things back together.
yeah,
But he can't heal himself. He can heal other people, but he can't heal himself.
yeah.
But he can heal things in a way that like he can use his stand in a way. It's based on intelligence too. It's like you have your set power, but you also have the intelligence of the user. Like my favorite character is I'm forgetting his name again.
Well, so I mean, regardless, so it reminds me a lot of Tagashi, the way Tagashi does Nin, which is like yes, there's an ability, but it is on the user to be creative and intelligent with the ability to make it actually strong.
Yep. Okuyasu. That's what I was thinking of.
Like the like Hisoka's ability at its base is kind of dumb, you know?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Kind of boring. But the way that Hisoka uses his ability is what makes him.
Yeah, so Okuyasu is a character who's famous for having a very overpowered ability. He has the hand, which he can like cut space-time essentially and make anything
sick.
disappear. But he's also a blockhead. Like he's not
Yeah.
he even says it. He's like there's a part where he's like trying to intellectually determine who is the real villain and who isn't, and he's like I just was going to punch both of them as hard as I could
Yeah,
because
that's amazing.
and he admits he's like, I'm not very smart, and he gets outsmarted a lot. That's what I like about him. He's very human. He's got a very, very overpowered ability,
Yeah,
but it's not like if somebody like Jotaro or somebody like Giorno or somebody like if Dio had the hand, it would be a much different story because you've got like actual intelligence
behind
or like
it.
if Joseph had it. You know, Joseph is a trickster. Like he could think his way out of anything. So if he had something as powerful as the hand, yeah, game over.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
that's our favorite animes. I'm ready to wrap up if you're ready to wrap up.
That has been all of our animes, man. That's a good list, I think.
I think so too. Good honorable mentions, good list.
Yeah,
I like it.
I feel good about it. It's been fun talking about anime for a hot minute too.
Yeah, and it's a first for us right now.
I know.
So.
We need to wrap this up so everybody can go outside and look at the solar eclipse.
Yes. All right. We love you guys very much. End us off, Andrew.
Yeah. Hey, if you've been listening to this and you enjoy it, go find us on Things We Like. Things We Like Pod on Instagram and on TikTok for some random comedy shorts and things like that from the podcast. If you enjoyed the pod and you want to see the VOD after the fact and you missed the live stream, make sure you check it out at Things We Like Pod on YouTube. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all that. Go check out Brooks's channel. He'll probably do some vlog stuff. I think that would be super fun, and some reaction stuff. You can check out my channel if you want to learn more about music production or anything of the sorts like that.
Absolutely.
And yeah, send us off, Brooks.
Remember, Hisoka has both the properties of rubber and gum.
That's great.
That is great.
Yeah, we won't keep everybody on stream because I think everybody wants to go outside.
Yeah, I'm gonna
touch grass.
Touch grass, losers. I love you guys. I'm gonna go do the same. So
yeah,
I'm gonna hang up on Andrew and stop going live. We'll see you guys next week when we have our next topic, and I'll try to work on some shorts this week in between.
And let's anybody that wants to do the book club thing, let's discuss it in the Discord.
Right. Awesome.
Sweet.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.